Hey, it's Jeanette with A Mom with a Book, and today I have a June book haul. These are the books that I sent back while I was in Chicago, and a few books that I picked up on the way through, and the books that I picked up when I got back. Before I get started, if you're in the United States, happy Independence Day, happy 4th of July. The noise you hear in the background is the fireworks show. The neighbors always put on a very big show in our area where we live. Even though we have one at one end of town and one at the other end of town, we still have lots in the background. So, but here we go. Let's see, where do we want to start? Let's start with the children's books, shall we? If I move the camera around a little bit, I'm sorry. I'm filming in a different location because it's night, and no matter where I go, I can't. Okay, so let's get started. Let's start with the kids' books. I picked up for my daughter The Search for Wandla, I think, and it's by Tony. That word. I'm not going to butcher it. I will. But this is the first book in the, I'm guessing, the Wandla series, and it's about a 12-year-old girl who, if I read it correctly, lives underground and just wants to go above ground, and there's a lot of supernatural creatures and things. So I think it might be something that she would like to pick up if I can convince her to do so. And then I have The Adventures of Ulysses, and this is by Bernard Evslin, and this is going to be part of our history book. And I'm actually kind of interested. I've read, I've watched the Odyssey, the movie, but I can't remember if I've actually read it, so this will be something for her. And then I also picked up The Trojan War, by Olivia Coolidge, and this is going to be part of our history. And this edition is really nice, and it has images in it too, so that's pretty cool. And I'm hoping that we're going to read it and then watch the movie. So let's see. Then I picked up a young adult book, Wink Poppy Midnight, and this is by April Genevieve Tushloke, right there. And I actually don't know a whole lot about it. I have seen this posted on Instagram, and I've seen it come through YouTube quite a bit. And I read the inside cover where it says, "Every story needs a hero, every story needs a villain, every story needs a secret. 2 girls, 1 boy, 1 summer, 1 bad thing. What really happened? Someone knows, someone is lying." And that's all I know. So I am going to pick this up. Plus, this was at the Dollar Tree for $1. And, you know, sometimes when you see it, you just gotta pick it up. Then a nonfiction book I picked up was Overcoming Dyslexia, a new and complete science-based program for reading problems at any level by Sally Shaywitz. And this is just a nonfiction book about dyslexia that I want to skim through. I'm actually more interested in dyscalculia, I think, or dysgraphia, whichever one is the math version of dyslexia rather than dyslexia, but I cannot find a book that's just specifically about that particular thing, and it's kind of interwoven in nonfiction books for that. So then I picked up The Light Between Oceans by M.L. Stedman, and my 11-year-old actually picked this one up, and she said it looked like something I would like. So this one is about a man and his wife who go to live in, work at a lighthouse in Australia, and she keeps trying to have a baby, but she has miscarriages and stuff, and they find a dead man with a baby that's alive in a boat that's wrecked on their island, and she decides to keep it, and it's the ramifications of that. So it sounds pretty interesting. Then I picked up A Discovery of Witches by Deborah Harkness. And this is the first book in this series. I guess it's just a Discovery of Witches series. Forgive me, I'm not sure. I got book 2, I think, already on my shelf, so I wanted book 1 so I could actually pick it up. And this one's pretty widely known, at least the name is, and it's just about a woman whose lineage is of the witches, and she discovers a book that is supposed to have been misplaced, and she finds it in the library, and it opens up a whole can of worms for her. So I'm looking forward to that one. Let's see. Then I picked up Rattle by Fiona Cummings, and I've been really anticipating this one, and I had a hard time finding it, actually. Now that I found it, it's all over. I can find it on Amazon now, and it irritates me to death. But this is the Bone Collector series, and it's a mystery thriller, and it's about a detective that's searching for I believe a serial killer, and that is actually, my jam. And it's set in London, not the United States, so that's kind of interesting twist on it. Then, in the same theme as murder, which, true crime, I like, The Giant Book of Murder, Real Life Cases Cracked by Forensic Science, and this is edited by Roger Wilkes, and it is a big book, literally, The Giant Book of Murder. And it's just stories of different murders that have occurred. Who Killed Bambi? Wow, that was a weird one. The Medea of Kew Gardens Hills. Most of these I've never heard of, so that's something new for me. And then I picked up another one that was I guess that is a series, which I am very interested in checking out. This is another book, The Giant Book of Unsolved Crimes. The best collection of murder and mystery cases ever published, and it's also edited by Roger Wilkes, if you can see that. And it's just a big book of unsolved crimes. Although I'm curious how many of them have been solved since it was published. There's a thought. Then let's see. Then I got A Treasury of North American Fiction, and this is a collection from Harper's Magazine. So these were short stories that were originally published in the Harper's Magazines quite a long time ago, and they include short stories from like famous people like Henry James, Edith Wharton, Jack London, Mark Twain. There's a lot of other names that I've never heard of in here, but I thought that might be a little good thing to get a taste of some of their earlier works. Then I kind of wandered over to the books about books section at our local used bookstore, because you can't be a bookworm without being interested in other books. So this one was really kind of cool, and it is Bizarre Books, a compendium of classical oddities by Russell Ash and Brian Lake. And it is literally just a book of names of books, of weird books about weird things, and each chapter is a different subject, like nature or foods or things like that. And some of the books in here are just completely ridiculous, and some of them are like, why did they do that? The Romance of Leprosy by E. Makerchar, My Prostate and Me by William Curtis Martin. And it kind of give you pictures. I don't know if you can see, but there's just lists, like the title and the author, and sometimes it'll give you a little sentence or something, or if it's published, when it was published. It's just, it's not something to read, it's just something to flip through and kind of marvel at the weirdities in the world. Then I picked up, see if you can see that through the glare, The Heroine's Bookshelf, Life Lessons from Jane Austen to Laura Ingalls Wilder by Erin Blakemore. And it's just, each chapter is a different character, female character from a book series like Emma or, can you hear the fireworks? Seriously, they're so loud outside. And Anne Shirley from Green Gables. And then it talks about how, when you might want to read this book with that character in your life. And then, I'm trying to find this little thing at the end of it. At the end of each chapter, it's got when to read this book, and it just has something like, when someone repeatedly misspells your name or implies that they'd rather interact with a man, that would be a good time to read Anne of Green Gables. I thought that was cute. So, fireworks are crazy. Okay. And then the other one, the one I'm most excited about, is the 100 Most Influential Books Ever Written. The History of Thought from Ancient Times to Today by Martin Seymour Smith. And this is, each chapter is a different book. So, like, some of them are the I Ching, the Old Testament, the Iliad, and the Odyssey. And each one goes into depth. And they're only like 4 or 5 pages long. So, if you wanted like a general quick reference to the 100, most influential books, you could open this and kind of have an idea. So, maybe if somebody mentions it next time, you can actually have an idea of what they're talking about, which generally I don't. But hey, whatever. Then I picked up some classics, and I can't wait to add this one to my classics bookshelf. I absolutely love the modern library editions, and they're so cute and so little. And this is the Iliad of Homer, and this is published in, I think, the 30s or the 40s. Don't quote me, I can't remember. Okay, the next book I picked up at an estate sale in Chicago. I was really kind of pleased with this one. It is The Story of the Irish Race by Seamus McManus. And this is actually a gorgeous hardback. And this is literally just the history of Ireland from the first colonization all the way up until when the book was published, which was originally in, I believe, the 40s, but they kept updating it all the way through the, I believe it said the 70s. So that's a pretty interesting read. That would probably be a very dense read, but also a fascination of mine. And then I also picked up A Treasury of Irish Folklore by Padraig, I believe is how you say it, Cullum. And this is a really neat collection of stories, traditions, legends, humor, wisdom, ballads, and songs of the Irish people. It has over 300 stories and 30 songs in it. And look at this, can you see the way they did the pages? Isn't that really neat? Anyway, oops. And look, there's a picture of the author on the back, which is kind of cool. If you've been watching my channel for any length of time, then you have probably seen that I have a bit of a thing for mythology and folklore, and particularly Ireland is one of my favorites. So anytime I see them, I automatically pick them up. Okay. Then the next one I picked up was another old book, and I looked this up on Goodreads, and it has no synopsis. This is Secret Marriage by Kathleen Norris, and this book has seen better days. I mean, it's literally brown with age, but I love old books like this, and I feel so sad that they're not loved and that people don't remember them, and sometimes they're really great books. So I'm going to pick that one up and see what it's about. Then I picked up A Doll's House and Other Plays by Henrik Ibsen. Someone recommended this, and I can't remember who, but it's kind of got a feminist slant to it. He talks about women in marriage losing their identity or something. In A Doll's House, he portrayed the wife struggling to break free. That's unheard of at the time, and Ibsen's play caused a sensation. So I'm kind of interested in that one. I actually have a list of classic books that I print off and I take with me to the store, and I just kind of browse at our local used bookstore, and I pick up things and check mark them off my list and add them to my bookshelf because I prefer vintage versions rather than the new ones, although some of the new ones are really cute. I also picked up Youthful Writings by Albert Camus, and this is the second of his writings, poetries, plays, little tidbits, essays that he wrote that he never published during his lifetime. And I don't know, I have just been hearing about Albert Camus, and I want to pick up something by him, and I don't quite know where to start. So if you have any recommendations of an Albert Camus that I need to pick up to start with, let me know. Until then, I have this one that has snippets in it that maybe will give me an idea if he's the type of writer I will enjoy. Then I picked up my own copy of Reading Lolita in Tehran. It's Azar Nafisi. I probably mispronounced that. And I've actually read most of this book, but I did not complete it. And if you've watched one of my recent, a couple of months ago, one of my reading wrap-ups, I talked about this book. And I want to finish it, so I bought my own copy. Then I picked up A Death of a Salesman in this really cute old edition. And I don't know a whole lot about this one. I just know it's a play by Arthur Miller. And I have one of his other books, I believe, on my shelf. And from what I've read about this one, it's just about a man who's been a salesman all of his life. And at like 60, he's fired or let go or whatever. And it's just about what he's done with his life. He feels like he hasn't done anything. And I think it can be quite depressing from the reviews that I read. So I'm not sure when I will pick this one up. Maybe eventually. Then I picked up The Man Who Mistook His Wife for a Hat and Other Clinical Tales by Oliver Sacks. And this one just kind of sounds fascinating. And it's actually just a collection of short stories about people who have neurological disorders and the weird things that they do or has happened to them. And so it's a very short book. Okay. And then the last book I picked up is an older one. And you can't see anything on it, obviously, but it is The March of Philosophy by Henry Alpern, and this was published in 1933, and it is just basically each chapter is a different philosopher, and then he kind of discusses them. So like you get the pre-Socratic philosophers, the Sophicists and Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, Berkeley, Hume, Kant, Hegel. Then you get into the different types of philosophy. And it's just something interesting I figured out that I would pick up and read. So that is all of the books that I purchased in June. And I probably need to stop purchasing books for a little while and focus on our homeschool books. But thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe if you'd like to see more from me, and I will see you guys soon. Bye!